How y'all doing? I got a question for y'all. You know how some people say, and this is comedy, and this is alleged entertainment purposes only. You know how some people say, baby, can we walk on the same path together? Can we walk through the valley of nothing together? I done that. I'm not going back to the valley of nothing. Why would I want to go to the valley of nothing? Because in the end, you'll understand. See, we all go through life with challenges, man. Get out of your freaking feelings. I'm not going over there to do that. I would never. You want to cross the wrong one. I know you ain't. You insulted me. I said I wasn't insulting you. I was just telling you that sometimes in life we make the dumb decisions and then we want to cry about them later, like we can go home and call our mother and our daddy's gonna come over and pick us up, just like they did back in the day when they did them fairy tales and they was like we was over here, we went, we moving on up from the east side to the west side, You know that song, I'm not taking no rights to it. I don't want y'all to come over here and say you gonna sue me for that, but anyway, allegedly. So, you gotta live up to what you want. Do you want excitement in your life? You always want to be whining about. Why do y'all whine about the pee? What is so good about it? Why y'all do it? Because you want that energy. Because, man, what's wrong with you? We want that energy. We want to feel it. You want it energetically. You want the energy because you like feeling like you got power. And when you don't have it, what do? You cry like a little girl and go in that corner and say, can you please help me? No, I ain't doing all that. What the heck? We ain't no crybabies. We come from the other side of town. Do you understand? I lived in the sticks. I had to work hard for everything I got. I was in the hot fields and I worked like a slave back in the day. And then you got nerve to come up in here and tell us how we got to change our life for the better when you're sitting over there not doing nothing and you folded the first can. How you gonna get mad at me? Because you're a coward and you don't want to stand up for what you believe in. I know this heifer ain't telling me that I'm a coward. I never said that. I told it. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but y'all tripping really. Y'all over here making deals with talking about you trifling. Is you really trifling or you just ain't trying to go where you need to go? What it is? Everybody want to fuss about. You told me you did this. That's the problem of the land. When you gonna see both sides of a situation? Why do you gotta be the rusty one and the dusty one when others is sitting over there doing the right in your freaking face, but you mad? See, I tell people, live your life with goodness. Stop evil-eyeing everything you see because it's not for you. If everything was easy, why would you want everything easy? Why would you want it like that? Because if you could have everything, wouldn't you want to have your sanity? Or would you walk like you are today, crying every day? Because I want rights. I don't give a darn about no rights. Hey, I go up in there and do what I got to do. And I say what I got to say. I'm about to life. I don't give a darn. See, that's your problem. Common sense. You can't just walk up to millions of people and say, I won't change, and you're going to do it. No, wait a minute. You just looks real dumb because there's one thing you didn't think about. What about if somebody comes out here and tell you these words, we're here to make America great. And then you're out there wanting to come in and they're saying, what's the greatness about we starving? What's so great about it? You trying to get all this stuff started allegedly? What's so great about we always have to cry because at night my children cry because they're scared of what you have done and we have to, allegedly we may all have to pay for eventually. Our children have to go and be imported in your stupid abilities like war, allegedly. I don't want my children in a box just because of ego. I think that's true, she making a point now. Who won't stay, you gotta look at logic now. You giving up your child just so the world can fight over something like common sense. Can't sit down and talk like we're civil. You talked before. You have made deals even underhanded before. But all of a sudden, we can't make no deals because you know why? You want the new world order to come in so fast, and it's been deceiving a lot of people, allegedly. This is entertainment purposes. It ain't about all that. Because, they really don't care. They want the new world order. I agree. But things will change. But it has to change right. Stop being illusional. Stop being injustice. Stop not letting us see what you're really doing. Stop cloaking yourself. And if you don't know the word, I'll say M-H, M-A-G-I-C, so you can understand. I spelled it like that in the beginning so you would think what you're thinking. But ain't nobody dumb. I'm always on the good thing. I understand where you come from. You stand for what you believe in. But we're over here playing like we can play in their game. And really, who has the best stuff? Everybody's talking about the best weapons, and the weapons are basically, what do you think about weapons that were orchestrated by the ideals of who made them? Who made these weapons? This show wasn't made by just thinking it and it's there. So you have to put effort into what you're manifesting. In other words, what you're trying to make true in your life. But if you sit over to young people and believe what other people say and do about you and never go forward because you're afraid, fear is what keeps us trapped. Not being in your authenticity is what's going to save you. And believe it or not, it's always comedy in here, but I am somebody to tell you, we on the other side. The spirits and the messages that they say, we're here with y'all. We're gonna fight with you. So chosen ones and earth angels and star seeds, keep your shorts. Keep steadying your post, but believing where you came from and understanding it's not all about you. It's real rough on these streets.